Mr. Adam, another week. How you doing?
Boom, we are back. It's good, man. Doing real well. It's really hot, but yeah, doing real well. How about you?
Likewise, man. I know I'm over here sweating. We both were checking in right before the podcast started that we've each got a fan going on ourselves. I got the AC pumping. It was the hottest recorded Death Valley temperature on Earth today, 130.
Yeah.
Did you catch that?
Yeah, I did hear that. Slightly cooler than that in the Pacific Northwest, but I still am just sweating like a farm animal.
Well, good. I can't hear anything. We're all good. We got a fun show today. It was we'll be getting into this later, but we are building out our dream garage. We gave ourselves 5 stalls. I spent the entire week kind of putting together my list, and my list definitely changed quite a bit. I got a couple honorable mentions I'll put in there, but we'll be getting into that in a little bit. But meanwhile, how was your week? What have you been up to?
Yeah, man, definitely excited to do the Dream Garage. It was all over the place, and then I kind of refined it. So I think this is going to be a fun activity. But really, since we talked last, the only thing, I've been working on the website. Jim Ratz is coming along, and I'm getting excited about that. But really, what I did in the meantime was my fantasy football draft.
Oh, right.
So this year is obviously weird, and this year being with COVID and all of that, believe me, fantasy football is on the smallest level compared to what's going on a global level. However, I'm drafting some dude in the middle of the rounds, and I pick him, and then some of the guys are like, "Oh, he opted out, so he's not even playing this year, and now he's on my team," and just a little pain in the neck.
Didn't even think about that they can opt out. And are your bros being cool? Are they letting you redraft, or you're stuck with them until you got to go to the bench? And
oh, my bros are cool, but they're not going to let me get away with that. And
right.
It's one of those things where you gotta do your prep work. And I thought I did. I had a good list, all that kind of stuff. And I got to the point, those mid rounds, you're like, okay, I didn't get anything that I really wanted. I got to reach for a guy. Let's try him. Oh crap! I didn't know that he opted out as well. So you got to be able to know your rankings. You got to know how to the bye weeks. You have to have your team set up. You know what moves you're going to be making, and then you also have to be super current events. And
I used to be Mr. Spreadsheet guy. I know exactly what you're going through.
So it was. I still think I got an okay squad. I basically traded away half of it last year to try to get a shot at the title. Came up second last year, and I didn't know that nobody gives a crap about my fantasy football team, but almost won it last year and fell short. So now I got a bad draft position, and I traded away a lot of drafts spots. So it was a tough one. So it might be a lick your wounds kind of year.
So do you guys do a money league, or do you guys do a money and a shame league? 'Cause I know that's kind of a popular thing. Losers got to get a tattoo or something like that, or something.
Yeah, it's not kind of
humiliating.
It's not quite that extreme, but yeah, it is a pay league. You know what was funny? So this is our 13th year doing it. And I think we started actually paying into it like less than 5 years ago. Like it was all about just trying to beat your buddy. Like we just wanted to win. And I played in all these other leagues where it was way bigger buy-ins and way bigger payouts, all that kind of stuff. And I remember being like, meh. I mean, if I win, cool. But at this point of the year, like I'm not going to win, so I don't really care. This is just to the death. I want to beat some of my best friends, even if it's a shot that I'm not going to get anything, but it'll keep them from getting into the championship. Like it's as competitive as it can get. And now there's a pretty good buy-in. But we have things. We have a wheel of misfortune where when you lose, you come up with one name, and then everybody else in the league comes up with another name that will be your team name, and you have to spin the wheel, and whatever name comes up, it's yours for the season.
So what is your team name, by the way?
My team name is Saint Repeat Carroll, and it comes from, I used to live in St. Pete and Seahawks fan, so it was St. Pete Carrolls is what my team was, but I won the championship, so I was the Saint Repeat Carroll. So
I like it. I don't remember any of my fantasy football teams. I think they're just dumb names. I do miss it a little bit. I had 2 years in a row where I really, really had to lick my wounds, as you said.
Yeah.
Where I totally last place by a long shot.
Sure.
So I took the last 4 years off. This probably would have been the year I should have probably got back into it this year, because we all need a distraction right now, and there's nothing better than fantasy football. I mean, I do miss that camaraderie though, where you're texting each other throughout the week and you're scouring the waiver
and my boy Scott is the man. He's our the commissioner, runs the league and everything, and he does like this pre-draft packet that is like ESPN the magazine. I mean, it's just gorgeous. And he runs out all the scenarios. He keeps all of our stats. He keeps tracks of our lives and stuff. So we get this pre-draft thing. We find out that, oh, John's got another kid. Oh, Adam got married. All this stuff going on. So we like keep connected, and it's just a really cool thing. So had to do it virtually this year, but it's such a good group of guys that can get together once a year. So it's pretty fun.
And how many people are in your team or in your league?
It's 14, which is too many, but it somehow works out really well with our group. So I would never do a 14 team league ever again. It's too many, but it's a blast, dude.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, man. What about you? What have you been up to?
We had a busy weekend, busy fun though. I mean, it was good. It was a little bit of work and a little bit of partying. We celebrated our 4-year wedding anniversary on Friday.
Boom. That's huge, dude. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you. We had it's kind of a week-long celebration, really. We did a couple things. We had a photo shoot earlier in the week. My wife loves photos. As you know, photos are like currency in our household. So anytime we can get photos of us, it's gold to her. She'll sit at night, lay in bed, and just scroll through photos from 5 years ago and reminisce. It's currency in her family, really, not even just her.
Sure.
So we did another photo shoot, and then at the last minute, our friend invited us down to the Strip. She was playing in a tournament. We decided to go down there and grab a room and just do a little staycation Saturday night. That was fun, kind of impromptu. Yeah. Friday night, we did the classic, gluttonous, go out to dinner, and our favorite our favorite Italian restaurant was open. So we had a bunch of pasta on Friday night.
Oh, yeah.
It's good to see people out and about, though. I don't know everyone's comfort level on, getting back out there, but I will tell you this restaurant was packed. And it's not, because it's more of a nicer restaurant, they don't seat you right on top of each other anyways.
Right.
So there wasn't much difference from what I could see, pre-COVID.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, they want you to have that ambiance, that space. You're not, sitting on top of someone.
Yeah. What kind of tournament was the friend in?
I'd never heard of this. I didn't even know it was a thing. A slot machine tournament.
What? Oh, what? Okay. I need more information.
So apparently, a lot of these type of tournaments, whether it's poker, blackjack, a lot of them are invite only. For people who do go down there quite often. And the way a slot machine tournament works is you have about a set number of time, like 5 minutes, whatever it is, and there's about 20 people competing. It's kind of absurd, really. It's a lottery, basically. It's as fast as you can hit the spin button for 5 minutes. You're trying to see how much you can accumulate, and then this was a multi-day thing, and basically you accumulate points at the end there. Our girl got 5th. And she won some meals, and she won a credit to go gamble some more. And this is kind of a fun, dumb reason to get out of the house. And we turned it into kind of a party night. So,
dude, that's awesome. That sounds like fun.
Yes. Oh man. So the podcast is evolving. I got a better light set up this week. I've got my fan in the background because it's hot as balls. And one thing that, I want the people listening to, I mean, if you're thinking about starting a podcast, it's already shed some light onto areas of my own life that I want to improve on. And I don't mind sharing this on here because I just kind of want to show you what we've been going through. I realize for anyone watching this, I ended up touching my nose quite a bit. I didn't know I was doing that. It's kind of a nervous tick. I touch my nose.
Okay.
That's something I want to get rid of. And so there's always some benefit coming out of this podcast that I want to do. And then I'm going to pop a picture up later too. I've got a big sign on my computer screen here that says F your I don't know if the kids are listening, earmuffs, fuck your I'm trying to get rid of my ums, man. Apparently I've got a lot of ums and they're going bye-bye this week. So hopefully we got a drastic reduction in the ums.
Well, I haven't heard any yet, so that's good.
Anything stand out for you that you kind of noticed in yourself? Because it's been a long time since I've done public speaking to where I've actually gone back and watched myself, because I've coached fitness for 9 years, so I was in front of the stage all day long every day.
Yeah.
But I haven't watched myself.
I've always known that I'm a little bit fidgety, and whether I'm up on stage or I'm here or there, I rock back and forth between my legs, and I noticed, well, I'm on the phone all the time, like all day long, and I pace. But I usually have earbuds in, and then
Right.
I'm walking around, and I'll walk around the table like 50 times in a row, and then I'm walking around. And in this, I'm standing up. So I stand up when we do this podcast, which is great for me because then it doesn't hurt my back from sitting down. But I find that I'm kind of like, because I'm tethered to the mic, I am just kind of bouncing around. So I think that's one thing. But yeah, I don't know. I'm sure I do all kinds of annoying things that I gotta get better at.
I do enjoy standing up when we're talking. Right now, I've been sitting down since we started this podcast. The mic is positioned to where I have to have good posture. I have to be sitting upright to be up on this mic. Otherwise, you're not going to hear me. So it's just kind of some fun stuff that, I've encountered so far in the couple of weeks doing this podcast that I want to improve upon. So hopefully you guys see some improvement here.
That's good. That's good. All right, dude. Is it time to talk about the Dream Garage?
Yeah. So the parameters, again, we have 5 stalls in our garage. We're not even going to get into the house right now, because that could be a whole nother list of how we want to build our dream house. But like I say, we have a 5-stall garage. We didn't give any parameters on how big that garage was, which I definitely took full advantage of. 5 there's an 5 stalls. Fuck you, 5 stalls, as big as possible, no size limit and no budget. What vehicles, what toys, what are you filling it with?
Yeah, let me see here. Did I have any other? Yeah, you're right. No budget, but you have to live your normal life.
Yes.
Oh man. Okay. So how do you want to do this? You just want to go do your 5 and build it, or do you want to?
Let's go back and forth on our 5, because I got a few honorable mentions, some stuff I kind of threw out at the last minute, but then it's not a number one all time. This is what I want. It's this. We've saved 5 spots in the garage, and I've got them in no particular order, really. I kind of no particular order, really.
Do you want to give me what your categories are?
So that was some thought that went into it. So I had to have something that I can entertain my friends with.
Mm-hmm.
I had to have a daily driver, something I can go on a road trip if I need to.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted a fun element. And that, for me, that also branched out into 2 wheels and 4 wheels.
Uh-huh.
And then I wanted something absurd.
Oh, see? Okay. That's good.
Any parameters for you?
No, I had when I first started, I threw up a car, an SUV, a truck or / off-road, a motorcycle, a water sport. That was kind of how I started with my categories, and then let me put some stuff on there, and then let me whittle away. And I ended up, I'm like disappointed with myself, but also super excited about this garage I have. And I kind of got rid of off-road truck, which I don't know how I did that. And then I got rid of a water sport. So
likewise,
I'm in the car, SUV, motorcycle parameters is what I've got.
Well, let's dive into it. Let's go back and forth. Maybe we'll throw an honorable mention if you have one. I should say before we jump into this list is sponsored for me by Heineken Light.
Oh, okay.
On this very hot day, this Heineken Light tastes really good, and I'm trying to watch my waistline, so that's the light aspect of it.
Oh, now, but is it a tall can?
Listen to this. It is a glass bottle.
Oh, okay. That boy. All right. Well, then should we start your dream garage, and then I'll do my sponsorship.
Yes, stall number 1 for me. I am becoming more of a social guy the later I get in life. So my first thought went towards, I want something that I can hang out with my friends. I want something I can go on a road trip with. I want something that I can pack a bunch of people in, go camp out somewhere for a month. and that's where the absurd level kind of kicked in too. I was Googling massive motorhomes, and I
Mm-hmm.
found this Renegade RV that's got the nose of like a Freightliner. It's got a nose of a Freightliner. It's not the biggest motorhome, I think I say, but I think it's got a payload to where it can actually tow a trailer too, which is very important to me.
Uh-huh.
It
Uh-huh.
has two rear axles, kind of like the back of an actual semi truck.
Right.
So the stability aspect of it too is really appealing, because I didn't want some shaky motorhome that'd be wobbling top heavy down the road. I love stability, and this thing is sexy and lean looking. I'm going to put a picture of it up.
Yeah.
Renegade XL. I think they call it like a super luxury coach or motor coach, I think is the technical term.
Is that one of the ones that the rock stars go tour in?
Similar. It's not quite as big. The nose on this thing definitely looks like exactly like a semi would be. So it's a little aerodynamic.
Okay.
It doesn't have the stub nose, which the stub nose didn't do for me.
Yeah. No, I hear you. How many people are getting in that thing?
Oh, let's see here if it's got any specs on it. I've got it literally pulled up on the screen here. I'm excited to post some pictures. I'll post the full specs on there, but it's got it's like 600 horsepower.
Oh my gosh.
Pop out sides to it. It doesn't
pop
really
out sides are key.
Yeah, I don't see a person's.
No, that's okay. I don't have a whole lot of specs on mine either, so you better not ask me too many in-depth questions. But that sounds awesome. I love it.
You're on the list. We're gonna go for a road trip. So
yeah, dude.
I think the wives will like that too, because we're not camping in the dirt.
Okay, I like that. I'm gonna go with this one. No, I'm gonna save those. I'm gonna go with this one. So I needed something that I just enjoy being in, whether I'm going to the golf course or I'm cruising, I'm going to get some dinner, whatever I'm doing. This is probably my most boring old guy pick of my dream garage, but I don't care, and it's going in. And that is a Mercedes-Benz AMG S series, but it's the AMG, so it's the 63 and it's a convertible. So it's just a two-door, but it's the S. It's basically on the SS 550 body, but it's a convertible, and it's a dream on wheels, man.
That is very fitting. I definitely, that's right in your wheelhouse. I can see that as Adam.
Yeah. Not super exciting, but that's probably the most boring on my list.
Any modifications? Any spinners or any blacked out windows? What are you thinking?
What's funny is the matte color is super popular right now.
Right.
And I don't think I'm going that direction. I think I want something just super understated but elegant. And it could be the matte, but if it's matte, it would be that white. And it would just be really clean looking interior trim with a little, with some little bit of accent color, but not nothing crazy. I like just those are just so sleek and simple.
Excellent choice. I like it. All right,
man. Next one for you.
Next on my list, a little bit of fun, little two-wheel fun, dirt bike. So I'm looking at either a Honda 450 or a KTM 450. I've always kind of been a Honda guy myself, even though KTM is probably leading the cutting edge right now as far as the 450 electric start, just full luxury, right out of the box package. But either bike, it's going to be a 450 Honda. I'm going to go Honda. I'm going to pronounce right now Honda. I'm sticking Honda.
Nice, dude. I like
Game
that.
time decision.
So 450, what's that, a CR?
CRF is a technical designation, okay. And I'm going to get the moto version so I can still hit the jumps and everything, but I'm going to have it built a little bit to where I can go cross country on this thing, because the track is fun, but I live in the desert now. I kind of want something I can go cruise around and gear it to where I can go, 75 miles an hour if I need to, 80 miles an hour, maybe fast. I don't know how fast these things go these days.
Yeah,
I'm still on a 125 myself.
Right. Well, and you can get up that fast too without having it scream at you too much.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Nice.
So I sacrificed a lot of square footage on that one, and it's but it's a must have. It's in my DNA.
Dude, I love it. I'm right. So I'm gonna pile on because I'm gonna go with my second bay filler is gonna be is a two-wheeler as well, and it is the Ducati Hypermotard. you familiar?
Sexy.
Yeah,
Oh
dude.
yeah. Oh, do you
I
speak my
mean,
language?
oh my gosh, I think this bike is so sick, but it can basically just hand me my ass on any paved road, and and it's gonna have way more than I need. Yet I can handle it like a dirt bike. It has that sleek look like a dirt bike. I love this bike, and yeah, that's gonna be number 2 for me.
Any honorable mentions or anything that you had to throw out?
Yeah, instead of I was gonna go either the Ducati, or excuse me, the KTM Duke,
Mm,
because I just love how it looks. It's just super aggressive. It's a naked, in the naked series. But yeah, there's just the Ducati Hypermotard was just calling my name.
I like that a lot. I,
Yeah,
I
man.
can't I can't say I put a street bike on my list.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of my honorable mentions. I think if I had to do a street bike right now,
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably have a track only bike. I've done one track day on a CBR 600 RR, and that was one of the funnest times I've had in my life, but also one of the scariest times.
Oh, I
Just
bet.
being in an environment where it's okay to push the bike as fast as it'll go. Now, granted, I was going as fast as I go in a straight line. I didn't certainly wasn't up on my corner speed, but I can see how addicting that would be having
Oh
a
yeah.
track only bike where you're around people with the same intentions, the same goal, the same awareness.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, that was one of my honorable mentions was having a track only street bike. I have a lot of desire to go cross country cruising, and I think if you ever wanted to do that, I'd have to rent a bike. But I'm okay renting that because I didn't want to give up a garage stall for something.
Well, yeah, and a couple of my buddies and I are talking about we on the motorcycle trip I did a couple years ago. We were the same groups talking about renting bikes in Europe, and you can do like
Mm.
Portugal through Spain, or you can do, I believe, like Germany through Croatia, kind of a deal. So they're out there, and I'm obviously with COVID and stuff like that, that's not going to happen anytime soon, but that's something on the radar for sure.
I like it. I like it.
Okay.
So yeah, that was my honorable mention, the street bike.
Mm-hmm.
Next on my list is my daily driver, my grocery runner, my head to the store warrior all around. This is my version of a minivan, which is a Toyota Tundra.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Functional. I want
Love the Tundra.
full cab, biggest cab they have. This one's going to be black. I forgot to mention my motorhome's going to be white with a little bit of graphics on it.
Okay. I like that.
The Tundra is not going to be lifted, but it might be leveled.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna have some rims on it.
The leveling
Rims
is key.
on it. Yeah. Blacked out windows. Bed liner, of course.
Yep.
Rhino liner. Functional. No canopy yet. I'm not that old yet.
No, not yet. You gotta have the dirt bike in there.
That was my one grown up decision for my list. But
Yeah.
realistically, that's probably the first one that I'll actually be able to achieve on this list, when it comes to
Oh yeah, that's definitely on the goal board for sure.
100%.
No, I love the Tundra. I had to get rid of my Tacoma this last year, and we got. Yeah, dude. Anyway, but that Tundra is a beautiful vehicle. I like it. Cool, man. Okay. Let's see here. All right. So this one is my just dream. This is my and it should be in the dream garage. And this is going to be stall number 1. This is going to be. This is the capstone piece. This is my baby. It is the Aston Martin DB Superleggera.
Sexy, buddy.
Dude, it is the best of the DB series, which I'm a Bond guy and I love James Bond. And it is just all things James Bond. It is refined. Now, granted, there are faster cars out there. There are more aggressive looking cars. You can get a shiny Lamborghini and show everybody how cool you are. And the Ferrari is a completely refined racing automobile, which I absolutely love. And it's a poster car. But the Aston Martin, dude, is just so beautiful. And it sounds so wonderful. I believe it has a AMG engine in it, but it doesn't.
I think you're right. Yeah.
I think the racing Aston Martin has an AMG in it. But anyway, the Superleggera is just, in my opinion, perfection. So it's number one spot for me.
Solid choice. Solid choice.
Yeah, it'll be in a tungsten color, and it'll have some sort of rich, not burnt orange, which Aston likes to do, but some a form of a natural leather color to it. And that's, we're not necessarily compromising for the wife, but the wife is 100% on board with this one, so we're all good.
I love it. So far, your list is not predictable, but it is very, very well thought out. And it's very fitting to you. Mine's a little across the board here. So just to recap, I have my motorhome.
Yep.
It's the super coach.
Yep.
The dirt bike. Mm-hmm. The grocery runner. The Tundra.
The Tundra.
The next one. This one kind of filled the category that your Aston Martin filled for me, except I've got a big part of my heart for classic American muscle cars. Now, there's a lot of muscle cars I wanted to get, but I think if I'm going to start with my 5-car garage, I got to fill it with a 1967 Ford GT 500 Mustang. Now, this is the
Eleanor, or is that a couple years younger?
This is the Eleanor.
Yeah, that's okay.
Specifics I'm going to have on it, though, it has to have a full roll cage.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to have a car that's close to 1,000 horsepower, which mine's going to have close to 1,000 horsepower, by the way, it's got to have a roll cage. And I'm not going to have the skinny tires on it. I'm not going to have the 20-inch rims on it. I'm going to get something a little more back to stock.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Little thickness to those rims. I mean, to the tires.
It is the full resto mod, so it's got the updated steering equipment, updated braking equipment, all the safety features, so you're not driving this thing with drum brakes. I'm not sure if they came with drum brakes, but there's gonna be no jankiness to it. So all the updated parts, close to 1,000 horsepower, roll cage, good rims and tires. It traditionally comes in the gunmetal gray with the black stripes. I'm torn. I almost want mine black with white stripes.
Yeah. Now, does that come with bucket seats or is it a bench?
This is going to be bucket, and they're going to be custom. Yeah, they're going to be specific. Yep. Everything about this car is going to be custom. So if I was going to throw American Muscle in there, it's fully modded.
Heck yeah, dude! I love it. I love that car.
I was so torn though on the new car. I actually, a little spoiler alert, I don't have a new sports car on my list.
Okay, no, dude, I respect the heck out of that.
Part of it's just I get so paranoid about going fast on the street.
Did you see the movie Vanilla Sky?
No.
Okay, Tom Cruise basically drives that car in the first scene. He has a dream where he's driving a Ferrari, and he actually wakes up and he's driving that car, and it's beautiful black. Yeah, check it out.
I will definitely.
Correct me if I'm wrong too, but I'm pretty sure.
Cool.
All right, dude. Okay, so what am I at now? So recap. I went the Mercedes AMG convertible. I did the Ducati Hypermotard. I did the Aston Martin Superleggera. I guess an honorable mention I did was the KTM Super Duke. Well, I guess a Duke, but the Super Duke's pretty awesome too. All right, so now because I have the Ducati Hypermotard, which is just me, just getting on the bike and going, and just kind of goofing off and having a good time, and just this next one is a little bit more functional. It's the BMW R1200 GS. So it's that like adventure tourer by BMW. Big bike.
Two slots with two wheels. I like it.
I know, dude. I know. I mean, this one is I'm going on the road trip with you. This is I can get on the service, the fire service roads,
right?
Forest service roads, excuse me, and really, really get out into some stuff, as well as being able to be a cruiser on the road and put on a 5,000 mile trip, all that kind of stuff. And so, and then obviously these things they've been a phenomenal bike for some time, but the series that Ewan McGregor did, Long Way Around and Long Way Down, made these things really popular, where him and his buddy went on a motorcycle trip from the northern tip of Scotland, all the way down to the southern tip of Africa. And then they did one all the way around in the other series. And it's a phenomenal bike.
Yeah, good choice. BMWs are really interesting to me. Back when I was working in the motorcycle industry, I got to know BMWs pretty well. I got to know the BMW clientele pretty well too.
Sure.
It's an interesting folk, really nice folk. It's fascinating to try to get a bike that does a little bit of everything, and it's kind of a little bit along the lines of a prepper too. You have this thing that's built to kind of handle the apocalypse. So that's kind of what was appealing to me about the BMW. That's a solid pick.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Solid pick. So that was your number 4, right?
Yeah, that's number 4. And to your point too, I mean, like, BMW riders are a little bit different than BMW drivers.
Of course, yeah.
Catch my feelings. So, we do need to clarify that BMW drivers are in their own category. We'll talk about it another time.
That's a whole nother podcast. Good and bad.
Right. Yeah. All right. But I do have an honorable mention.
M3?
What's up?
M3?
No, unfortunately not.
Speaking of BMW, that was on my mention. Cut you off there.
Mine is also a Ford, but it is the new Bronco.
That was on my honorables. Yep.
Yeah, and it's I like that limited series one. They're only making 3,500 of them. It's got everything, all the bells and whistles. It's souped up, super nice, and all that kind of stuff. It's actually on my, out of all these things, I mean, even the bikes are less expensive, but probably more extreme. But it's probably the closest thing that I'm on to actually achieving, because I want it for gym rats. I want that souped up Bronco, and then I want it wrapped with gym rats.
Right.
I think that would be a sweet marketing thing, and it would be awesome to drive.
It was tough for me not to put that on my list, because it's something I want. It's something that's probably closer to being able to achieve than most of the stuff on my list. Well, a few of the things on my list.
Right.
It's one of those things that the truck just makes a little bit more sense for me right now.
Yep.
Being able to throw the dirt bike in the back, or be able to tow something, a little bigger, and be able to pile more people in there. So it was really, really hard for me to cut the new Bronco, because I've been raving about the new Bronco.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right, dude. What's your number 1?
Absurd. I went crazy, ludicrous. I really am liking living in the desert. I wanted something that I can cruise down to the 7-Eleven, pick up a 6-pack if I need to. The reality is, if I do it in this vehicle, I'm probably not going to get in too much trouble here in Las Vegas, given just the demographic and given the state down here.
Sure.
We're going full Baja trophy truck, off-road trophy truck, Baja 1000 truck.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
And you could ride, I mean, you could drive that in Vegas, yeah?
Yeah, there's quite often there, anytime there's a race in town, they're either driving around. Sometimes they'll debut them on the strip. I've seen them out in the desert from afar.
What?
I've seen evidence of them all around here. That we're in Baja country. I want something that I can rip down to the 7-Eleven and then rip off the end of the cul-de-sac and go to Reno if I need to.
Yeah.
So it's absurd.
That is awesome. I love it.
They pack close to 1,000 horsepower as well. Suspension travel is incredible. You can basically run over anything on those things.
Oh man,
2-seater, cool. Barely.
Right.
Yeah, no creature comforts. We're not going for a weekend cruise.
Sure.
Yeah, we're going for 100 miles an hour across the desert.
Dude, I love it.
Skimming across the whoops.
Any vehicle, you got to have goggles on. That's just badass. I love it.
So that was my absurd. When we're thinking about this fantasy garage, that was
dude. That's good. I like it.
So I can't wait to hear the feedback on this list.
I know. They're gonna be like, you guys are ridiculous.
That's just it. It's just fantasy right now. But one of the things we're trying to do is, you and me both have the chance to really start adding some of these to our list in the next couple of years.
Yep, absolutely.
Keep each other accountable.
That's right, man. Okay, speaking of that, I got my my last one. Okay, and let's see here. Well, my last pick is brought to you by Dewar's 12-year Scotch.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah, it's a nice little daily drinker. Okay. My last one is, and you're talking a lot about, my motorcycle's a prepper bike, You're talking about. I think you actually even said the Apocalypse at one point. This vehicle, it's the best way I think it can be described is the most well. Okay, so it's British. So the most posh way to go through the Apocalypse. Okay. So this is the and I'm going to butcher the name. It's the SUV. It's the Bentley SUV. It's the uh, Bentayaga.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, but so there's the regular Bentley Bentayaga. This is the Bengala version. Okay, this thing is like all black. It's got it's basically a Bentley out of Mad Max. Like it is super aggressive. It's got crazy bumpers on it. It's got I mean, it is everything that you're going to need to get through the apocalypse, as well as just, running down the store and turning heads at the same time. You pick somebody up at the airport with this thing, and it's like a big souped up modern day Batmobile.
I'm looking at it right now. Excellent choice. That's not something that was even on my radar. It's something that existed, to be honest with you.
Dude, I had no idea until I saw it in LA a couple months ago. I was just going on, one of my Audible listening walks.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of those little like high end repair shops near Sunset, and it was poking out of the garage, and I was like, "What is that?" And I had to look it up, and it's just kind of been in the back of my mind ever since I saw it. So,
sick choice. Would you say, being that you're in the heart of gaudiness, is that the most gaudy car you've seen in LA so far? What?
Oh man, I've seen some. No, because it kind of looks like a prepper car. It's not as gaudy as a lot of the things I have seen. Like I've seen some crazy Rolls Royces with all kinds of colors, and you get every highlighter color of Lamborghini, and then you get a couple of the you get the what's the I think the guy's Argentinian, and he's from Argentinian and Italian. Made the pecan. So you see the pecan every once in a while. Yeah, man. There's been some wild ones, but off the top of my head, I can't even think. There's just been nuts.
I see a lot of my pseudo Baja trucks running around here in Vegas. Everyone wants to think they're a Baja champ.
Yeah, it's just a Razor.
Or it's just a lifted Ford Ranger or something.
Oh, right. Yeah, I got you.
With the front that's 2 feet higher than the back.
Right.
But that's all. I'm a dirt guy. I like off road. So
all right.
Solid list, man.
Yeah. So what are you most impressed with, and what are you most disappointed with my list?
With your list, I'm not surprised. I'm pretty impressed. You allocated 2 spots to motorcycles, although they do each have their own purpose. They serve a purpose.
Yeah.
And I understand that. I thought you would have gone maybe something more. I don't know. I thought the motorhome for me, I was like, I bet Adam's going to say a motorhome or some kind of travel rig. So that's one thing I think that is possibly not in there, because I know you and Diana love road tripping.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So what is your road trip car, by the way?
It's got to be the Bentley SUV.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just got to be. Otherwise she has to pack lighter, and we go in the convertible.
What caught you off guard about my list? What stood out on my list?
Out of the gate with the RV, I was like, okay, all right. I didn't go nearly as extreme. Should have. Okay. And then I love that Mustang. That Mustang is just so wonderful. I mean, I'm pretty sure Steve McQueen was buzzing around Hollywood back in the day trying to get the cops to chase him in something like that. I mean, that's just such an American muscle, cool It's Eleanor, dude. It's a cool car.
Yeah. My dad and I had the opportunity to tour the Shelby Museum or the Shelby factory here in Las Vegas before the shutdown. It was something. It
Yeah,
was pretty
man.
cool to see.
Did you see Ford versus Ferrari?
No, it just never, with our move going on, it never worked out. But we are going to rent that one night. I told my wife, I said, we're going to watch this, but we have to get our sound bar set up first. We got to get good bass. We're not going to watch this on the laptop.
Oh no.
No, we're watching this on the big screen. So I've been kind of saving that. That's kind of my ace in the hole. That I'm kind of saving that for a night where we're like, what do we watch? What do we, what are we going to do here?
Yeah, definitely. But, okay, cool. I won't say anything, but yeah, check that one out for sure, dude.
So this was a fun fantasy week. So I had another experiment or another basically dive into fantasy today that just kind of stood out to me. It kind of shocked me today. Mm-hmm. Have you played around recently with any of the virtual reality headsets?
Ooh, I think the last time I played with one was about a year and a half ago.
The last time I played around with one, it was one of the ones that was wired. It was cumbersome. It had a lot of stuff attached to it. Mm-hmm. So it had to have been at least a year or two ago. But my friend here in Vegas had the Oculus Quest, which is kind of their mini version, but it's totally wireless, no cords. Basically, everything that is computer is in the actual goggle headset itself. Mm-hmm. And we tried it out today, and I got to say, it was light years ahead of what I thought it was going to be.
That's awesome. I mean, that stuff is going to be, I mean, it tried when we were kids and it just wasn't ready, but it's right there now. It's going to be everywhere.
I was pretty impressed. It picked up on your movement really quick. It understood that you were moving left and right. Yeah, you set a kind of a boundaries on where your working space is. That way you don't end up running through the coffee table. We were playing a shooting game. Mm-hmm. It was realistic. It got my heart rate pumping a little bit. I wasn't moving as much as, that would warrant the amount of sweat that I generated, but just the intensity of, guys jumping out of the corners, coming down from the rafters, having to reload. That's what ended up getting me is I died early because I missed a reload.
Oh, okay. Now, are you holding things in your hands and then you've got the apparatus hooked to your face?
Yeah, this particular setup was just a headset, goggle set you put on, and one kind of like, it wasn't a gun shaped thing, but it was similar to almost like a joystick thing that you hold in your hand. Extremely light, not cumbersome, not weighing you down at all. You can move freely. It's only like $400. We looked it up as soon as we left there. I think we're actually invested in one just because it was so fun. We played a shooting game. My wife, surprise, she's good at everything. Did really, really well in it. And then we also played a golf game, which is really fun too. Nice, dude. That does sound fun. But the damn awkward thing about it is when you're in a room full of people, you can watch what the person playing is seeing because you can stream it to your TV or your phone. Yeah. So you can kind of see what they're seeing. But then if you just stand there and watch someone with a goggle headset on, a VR headset on, it looks pretty goofy. And you kind of, every now and then when you have the headset on, you kind of remember, okay, I'm in a room full of, people watching me. Right. Exactly. You're kind of on stage, but you don't get to see the reactions. That's funny. Yeah. Oculus has come a long way. I ended up having a chance right before we moved to tour, not necessarily fully tour, but go into the Oculus headquarters in Redmond, or one of the headquarters in Redmond, Washington. Super high security. We ended up doing some headshots for them, but they were working on some pretty cool stuff back in the day, and it's obviously I can see it's coming to fruition now. Yeah, man, that stuff's cool. I remember. Okay, so I did it about a year and a half ago, and it was pretty good. And I remember like I think it was a Christmas party, and I had maybe had a few, but I had this thing on, and the games or the programs that were like that came with it or were purchased were really pretty good. And I think the same thing, like a little joystick that kind of fit in your hand, that your thumb did the joystick, but you had like a little trigger and you could do stuff, and it was interactive. You could pick things up and throw things and shoot things and move around, do that kind of stuff. And it felt really good. And like the continuity was good. Mm-hmm. And then we put in the other one and I played that one. That was great. And then there was another one that was like it was like an open forum where people could create their own little worlds too. Right. And I got in that one and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get sick. And I don't really get motion sickness.
it's set for in things like that when it's not quite real and it's a little bit
Mm.
fake. And I'll compare it to like when you go to Universal Studios, you go on a roller coaster, I'm fine. But if I go into one of those where you don't really move, but the screen moves and then they like blow wind at you and it's just off just a touch.
Yeah, something about the resolution and the refresh rate just kind of messes with your equilibrium.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's how I felt when I played that other one. But the first couple were great, and I was like, this is a lot of fun. So that's cool that you got to do that.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to invest in it. I didn't grow up playing video games. We never really had any consoles growing up. We would rent, one. My mom, like, bless her heart, when we had dental surgery one time, she rented a Sega Genesis. That was an epic weekend for us. So we had something to do since we were quarantined.
Yeah,
and we'd always play at our buddy's house, and duck hunt and all that stuff was fun.
Yep.
I can see myself really getting into this because Wii was semi-entertaining. The Wii setup, even me and her mom used to play the Wii bowling and whatnot, and we got into it. It's kind of fun. So I like stuff that's social you can do with your friends.
Yeah,
I never got into that. I tried to get into like the first-person shooter games. I can see myself getting more into it now that you're actually with a headset on. You actually have a gun.
Yeah.
I never got good with the handset, the controller. I could kind of get it, on the driving games, but it just wasn't realistic. I have to have a steering wheel in my hand. It has to be something that's semi-realistic. So
I'm with you. So in college we would play Halo, and the original Halo, which was a first person shoot 'em, and it was there were guys that were really good and I sucked at it. And so then you just kind of hang around, you start playing a little bit more, and then you get a little bit better at it. And I'm with you, dude. I don't want to sit in my bedroom or living room or whatever and just not hang out with people or do anything like that.
Self-isolate.
Yeah. I mean, the online stuff is a whole lot better, but the way we used to do it, now we were athletes and stuff. So we would have, weight training in the morning, and then you have school, and then you have practice, and then you have meetings and stuff. And then, sometimes some guys will work out afterwards or whatever. And then it would be, 9:00 at night. And we're like, I still have those competitive juices. You want to compete.
Sure.
Well, that kind of video game is really the only kind of competing you can do still at those hours, And so what we would do is we would get the Xbox and link them all together. We get 4 Xboxes and link them all together. We'd have one team out in the garage and the other team in the living room. And we'd have 8-on-8 battles of Halo. So even though it was first person shoot 'em, and you could play online with like, Halo 2 and these other ones, but we would do it so we were all in the same area. And we would just do just battles and yelling at each other, and the teamwork and the communication. It was like watching a woman's softball game. They're just the chatter. You got this, big man. It's just constant chatter.
What a funny analogy.
We're chattering the same way. Like, okay, check the red room. Okay, check this out. Okay, you guys on your 6. It's just constant talking and strategy. It was awesome. I loved that. That was a lot of fun.
I do miss playing the Xbox 360. Was the first console I ever bought.
Yeah.
And because we grew up racing motocross, that was the only game we ever really put in the console, my brother and I.
Mm-hmm.
The Xbox Online experience was pretty good back in the day. It was not perfect. It was definitely glitched quite a bit, but it was set up so where we could race. So it was kind of a cool way to hang out with my brother, race a little bit, and you bring in other people. Sometimes you get a couple randoms joining the race.
Yeah.
But you're right, that competitive nature, it's good to have a second outlet for it. And I'm really looking forward to getting back into this video gaming thing a little bit, the VR thing, just because it's good to have something completely different to disconnect with.
Yeah.
Reading's good. We definitely allocate time for reading, but it's so easy, especially during the quarantine, to get stuck in work mode and always feel like you need to be productive. And then, this is something that Jane and I can do together. We can kind of make fun of each other, go back and forth with it. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's good, man. It's funny. It's funny. We weren't even bringing these things up as our topics today, and it's even better because, so I did the fantasy football draft, but I got a chance to stay over at one of my buddy's house, and we had a couple of beers, and we played like old video games. We played like the old Call of Duty where we could play it together, like a co-op. And then we played old FIFA. We played against each other. And it was just a blast. Like we turned the volume down and we were just chatting the whole time, just like old days and and like just good old day stuff. And but like playing the game together, and oh man, it was just a fun, felt like a bachelor college weekend. We need that every once in a while, right? I mean, just nostalgic. Like you said, yeah, and just like what you said, like with COVID, we're constantly trying to learn, how do we get better? What do we do? I'm launching a business, you're launching a business. We got to learn constantly, all day, every day, and then we're also doing a podcast, and we're doing all this stuff, and we're trying to be good husbands as well, and it's nice to have little respite and remember that we're also just guys who want to have fun too and goof off, and it was good.
That's awesome. Well, there's so many different directions we could have each taken this list this week. I'm really excited about you to read the comments and hear, again, stuff that we might have missed, stuff that we overlooked, or just, where you guys allocate your resources for your 5-car garage.
Yeah.
So definitely leave us a comment and argue your point. Give us the reasoning behind your picks.
Dude, and I all my Florida guys are like, what? You didn't put a boat? You didn't put a wave runner? You didn't,
right.
What are you talking about? And I'm like, yeah, in LA, it's like, yeah, I could have something down at the marina, but I just don't think about boats. And I always loved that my buddies had boats.
That's the best way to do it.
Oh my gosh. Like just the work that they had to put in and time and money and all that. Yeah. Anyway.
So for next week.
Yeah.
Next week's kind of similar in the sense that it's not necessarily a top favorite, but it is 5. I was thinking about, these exercises are a way to get people involved in the podcast and get to know us a little bit. And it's also a way for me to get to know you more.
Yeah, man.
And I'm loving that. So I kind of want to know more about your background, like how you grew up, because your musical choices it didn't throw me off per se, but it definitely caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting some of those, and I want to know more about you. So I want to know, what are the top 5 shows that you grew up with that had impact on you?
Okay.
I'm going to say, what do you want to put for age bracket here?
Oh.
Grow up for me was like maybe up until maybe 18. Maybe I'm just thinking when you actually became an adult. Maybe what do you think?
Yeah. Okay. So I gotta break this down a little bit. So we went TV. I was TV less.
Okay.
From when we moved to Leavenworth. So I was 12 to about 15. I was television free. But that is when my love for movies started.
Okay.
I would just watch movies over and over and over. So
you didn't have TV.
Yeah. So not having television between 12 and 15. So what I'm going to tell you as far as that grow up time is, let's keep it open from whenever we think to say 18. Because this one's going to be fun.
Yeah, 18-ish. Yeah, because there's some shows that stood out that I can't spell. I had to go back and maybe look at the air date when it originally aired, but I don't recall when it came out. But it's definitely something on syndication that I'll still watch, even if it's on TV right now.
Yeah. Okay, so restate it. So now we got our top 5 most impactful television program, or television. Like, does it have to be like situational, like a drama or a comedy?
It can be a cartoon, just something that you grew up with that sticks out.
Okay. All right. There's my yeah, dude. I'm in. I'm excited.
Next week's topic.
Yeah, bud.
I'm gonna go to work on it. Anything else for you?
No, man. This was good, man. This time flies by, dude.
It does. I'm loving this, man. Good to get to know you, get to know more what goes on inside your head. Good to know where you're going to spend your money when you make your first million.
That's right, brother. That's right. Hey, we didn't introduce the show. What are we called?
PowerFall Project.
PowerFall Project. PowerFall Project. I like it.
I'm wearing my Empower shirt, so it's the same as plug there. Empower. PowerFall Project.
Yeah. Why don't you plug your company real quick?
Empower Media Productions. That's the company my wife and I built, both photography and video work here in Las Vegas.
Beautiful.
And my favorite activewear is
Gym Rats, dude. Gym Rats. It's my apparel brand, and it's you know what? It is one of the coolest things I've ever done. It is challenging and difficult, but it is a big chunk of who I am. It's a bit of a chip on my shoulder to become better at things. And that's what this brand is all about. So it's about being a gym rat, and then a dude I grew up with whose name was Jim, and I was always chasing to be better than him. So yeah, it's been pretty fun, man. A couple weeks and this thing's going. So,
well, 2 positive things that came out of the quarantine. Well, actually 3 with this podcast. So hopefully that inspires someone to do some of the same.
Absolutely. All right, brother. Well, with nothing else, dude, let's sign off.
It's dinner time here in the Powers house. I will catch you next week, and can't wait to hear the comments.
All right, brother. Later.